First time in San Juan, Mejio, the capital of Puerto Rico. Immediately was enchanted.
That's all we know.
That's all we need to know.
That song because of social media. Welcome into So Happy You're Here. We are so happy, you specifically, you, the one with the good buns, good attitude, good personality, tons of fun. We're happy you're here. I'm Erin. This is Becky.
Hi.
We are almost at 2 years of this podcast, so we're still introducing ourselves because we hope a lot of people are new each week.
I think that's nice, though. It's a nice greeting.
Yeah, it's a nice way to greet each other.
And Mejio.
Yes. If you haven't been paying attention on mostly TikTok and Instagram platforms, there are a lot of people singing along to that song and doing little dances. But our, way shower, our North Star, Countess Luann de Lesseps, and her cohorts, which would be
Ramona Singer most famously did it. We've now seen Kelly Ben-Simone has done it. I
can't speak of that name. I think she's out there just to rage bait
the
me.
Voldemort of Housewives.
They are doing their own version of First Time in San Juan.
But why is it always just a half a step behind?
It is a half a step behind. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And I can't stop watching it because it is phenomenal. So if you find yourself today, this week, feeling down about anything,
pull her up.
Feeling like the world around us is a little dark, feeling a little desperate for a good giggle and a good laugh.
Boy, there's just a great stop.
I want you to go directly to Ramona Singer's Instagram and or Countess Luann de Lesseps.
Yeah.
And I just want you to peruse their reels. And I want you to know that there's always a giggle on that side of social media.
Delightful.
I don't think they're doing it for a giggle.
I can't tell, though, if they're in on the joke or if they think they're
not those two. Not those two.
No, I think what happens is it pops up on TikTok, and it happens with Heather Dubrow, too. She thinks, that's cute, that's fun. I'll go execute that myself.
But I think Heather Dubrow's in on the joke.
Yeah.
I don't think Luann and Ramona know it's just hysterical. And I want to be clear. We're not here to laugh at them.
No.
We're laughing about it. There's also a wild workout video that they're doing.
And by the way, Ramona in a bathing suit, ma'am, keep up the great good work.
They all look great.
Whoa.
They all look great. No shade to those of you who like to get on the social medias and constantly record yourself in a two-piece.
I'm a little shocked by that, though. Like, I really am. It's not like a thirst trap. It's not like sexy. It's just me.
Ramona and Luann, or just any lady?
The ones I've been seeing are just, this is just me doing my life in a two-piece.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. One time I came out in a two-piece after a real bad battle with sugar and carbs. And I had been in a one-piece for quite some time. And I came out in a two-piece, and James was younger, and he goes, never saw you in a two-part before.
A two-parter?
A two-part. And then he walked away, and of course I'm like, and?
Yeah.
He's like, Mom, I'm not going to comment. And he was also at the time like 6. But anyway, neither here nor there. And? Becky and I believe that if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yes.
And we believe in the power of a good conversation with a good girlfriend. Sometimes you can get on the phone with a girlfriend and get off an hour later and you don't know what you talked about, but you feel better.
Yeah.
That's what this podcast is all about. So
Giggles.
we wanted to start off with a little bit of a giggle. We actually have an amazing interview coming up.
What a good get.
We have a really good get coming up, and we're going to introduce you to this person who happens to be a boy again, another boy.
Watch out.
Wow.
My own.
But when I was thinking about his kind of background, which is incredible, and something important that happened to me this past week, and it quite frankly happened to both of us this past week, I saw a similarity because the person we're interviewing, he just has such a rich history and always has his hands in something and is always pushing for something and putting himself out there and pivoting. And I like to think I'm doing the same thing with this podcast.
Yes.
Because over the past few months, especially since Amy Poehler came out with her podcast, Good Hang.
A direct ripoff of So Happy You're Here.
Listen, we love her. We want nothing but the best for her. But clearly she saw our podcast come out. And about a year later, she decided to copy it and call it A Good Hang. Now, I've made it public that, we're okay with that. But I feel like if she's going to stalk us and copy us, she should probably at least give us credit or invite us on. Let's do a collab, Amy.
I love that. Love that idea.
All right. Amy and, oh my gosh, what's her? Tina Fey.
Oh, yeah.
It's Tina and Amy, Erin and Becky.
We're the poor man's version of those girls all day long.
We're the humble version. Anyway, so I've been putting it out there that she's been copying us. Well, lo and behold, I didn't know how much she copied us.
This is actually really cool.
So she did a little promotional clip. She does way more promotional clips than we do, so I can't figure out why she's more successful than us. Okay.
But she was on with John Cena, which was a great interview, by the way.
So she did a promotional clip with John Cena, and she was talking about the power of WWF wrestling. And now it would be WWE. Back in our day, it is WWF.
Yeah.
And we've touched on this before, but in case you're new here or don't remember, from the beginning of 4th grade until about the end of 5th grade, I was a little Hulkster.
We all need an identity.
The WWF. Now, today, I think that's the Wildlife Foundation, but back then it was the World Wrestling Federation.
And I predate you with
Mean Gene.
where's where's my dude?
He lost an arm, so he's over here.
He took a hit. Ric Flair. See, mine was All-Star Wrestling.
Yes.
So this shows the difference in our age.
How involved were you with All-Star
Oh,
Wrestling?
like cage matches with my uncle.
Yes.
Oh, it was big time.
Amazing.
Mad Dog Vachon, Greg Gagne, East-West Connection, Adrian Adonis. Yeah.
That's like the real original.
But I didn't really stop because I was with you now on that next wave.
So when I got into 4th and 5th grade, me and, future common law spouse, Anna, we were little Hulksters and we would go to cage matches.
So good.
We would make my parents buy on pay-per-view and record on VHS the Royal Rumble every Thanksgiving. We would watch Saturday Night SmackDown. We cried when Macho Man and Hulk got in a fight. And they got in a little argument. Mm-hmm. We watched the Bushwhackers lick each other's foreheads. We watched.
Do you remember when they would bring in the metal chair? Mm-hmm. People will say it's fake. Ma'am, I saw the blood.
Yeah.
That was real blood.
Yeah. I did see Ravishing Rick Rude's Privates. Mm-hmm.
You know the Ravishing Rick Rude story.
What?
When I sent his shirts to the wrong place.
No.
So he was a local boy. And the most handsome man you've ever seen.
Ravishing Rick Rude was from Minneapolis?
Yes. Robbinsdale. So I worked I worked at
this
Genie.
move?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Woo! I mean, that is the woo. He wanted his shirts boxed and sent to Europe. And I took down the information wrong. So I took his shirts.
But where were you?
The dry cleaners.
You were working at the dry cleaner?
Yes. And he dropped off a
you
pile.
Met Ravishing Rick Rude and you're just
and he dropped him off
this?
himself.
Was he beautiful?
He really was a handsome
man. Did he walk in like this?
He didn't do the body roll. He didn't. Not on that visit.
Was he wearing a blouse or nothing?
I think it was summertime, so he didn't have a dress shirt on, but he had a stack of beautiful, beautiful shirts.
Okay.
I probably should have smelled them, but I didn't.
You should have wrapped yourself in one. Where did you send them to?
Well, that's the problem. I took down because it was somewhere in Europe. I wrote, somehow one of the digits got.
Did he ever recover them?
I think so, but it was a problem.
Oh, no.
I know. It was a bad customer service.
Did you pay him back with hugs and kisses instead? Did he yell at you?
No. I think I just remember it being a thing.
Okay. And did he come in with leggings on and now it was Miss Jackie's face painted on his private?
Will you show? Do you have that picture?
Do you guys know that Ravishing Rick Rude, he used to have his opponent's wife or mother he would have their faces airbrushed onto the crotch area.
Can you imagine what would get into someone's head more?
Well, I mean, and it's
such a dirty dog move.
And when Jake the Snake Roberts pulled his pants down on Ravishing Rick Rude, my mom had to cover his eyes. Anyway, so you guys have all heard us, and I could talk ad nauseum about all of this. Where did he go? Oh, I saved it.
Oh,
I didn't
good.
Send it to you. I saved it for my own viewing pleasure, like a psycho. Hold on, please. It's in my saved. I didn't even tell other people I'm doing this. Yikes.
It's in a private browser. Woo! Watch out. And that pose, that like Adonis pose. Wow.
You could choose between Brian Boitano or him. Well, choose wisely.
You were growing up.
Anywho. So we've talked a lot about being a little Hulksters.
Yes.
Really loving wrestling, what have you. Now, this is all, don't worry, we're going to land this plane. So it started with Amy Poehler copying our podcast. As if she didn't have enough success with all of her television and movies and what have you. She had to go ahead and copy our podcast and put like big teams behind it. Yeah. You know, we love you, Garrett. We have one team member, Garrett. Okay. So she does that. Then we start talking about wrestling.
Right.
No sooner does she do an interview with John Cena, who's part of like the more up-to-date modern wrestlers.
Right.
And she's talking about how much they loved wrestling and how, you know, what wrestling was. And so I post that. I put it on my stories. I'm giving the girl a bone, throwing her a bone, you know, helping her market.
Trying to promote.
Yeah, I got to promote Amy, you know, our good friend Amy. She likes it. Now, I'm assuming since she has a big team behind her, it was
somebody liked
good
it.
hang with Amy.
Yeah.
Somebody liked that I reposted it.
But still,
they know we're here, you guys.
that's right.
They know we're here.
Signs of life.
If they start talking about the old shit and split from episode 12, we know. If all of a sudden she's pretending.
I want your eyes and ears
if
on
she's
high
pretending
alert.
one time her pants split wide open while her baby shat on her in a public park. And she was wearing, and the kicker will be if she was wearing a sensible full cotton brief, then we know she's really stalking us.
But
Anyway.
it was actually very great to see that.
Totally. We were actually really excited.
Yes.
And you know what? A good hang or so happy you're here.
Oh,
It
same
is just
thing.
fun to have these funny conversations that don't mean anything, because I think everything can get so heavy that it's nice to just have something ridiculous and fun to talk about.
Nice little break.
So whoever from Amy's team liked that, just know that Becky and I have talked ourselves into believing it was Amy herself.
Yeah.
And
Just let us believe that, will
we
you?
are 90% flattered and 10% when you having us on.
But again, delusional confidence.
Yeah.
That's where we live.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just what happened this past week. We've got a great episode for you.
Okay.
How do you want to introduce our incredible special guest?
The inimitable, the leader in the home shopping industry, and really somebody that was there from the absolute beginning as a young, leader,
Yes. Yes.
Marvin Segel.
Yes. So Marvin Segel's dad was really who began QVC
Yes.
back in the day. And he ended up having an incredible career, not only in home shopping, but in so many other businesses.
I love the hustle on that one.
Oh, he's got a great hustle, and he's not afraid to put himself out there and ask for something.
Yeah.
Hence, we're asking to be on Amy's podcast.
Right.
But Marv was literally standing next to his dad when QVC went live for the very first time.
And I didn't realize, you'll hear some insights. I didn't realize that entertainment was at the heart of it on that first broadcast.
Yes.
Super fun.
So he really gives us a fun, storied background into home shopping. So if you've loved home shopping, you're going to be amazed at what he has to say. And if you are new to home shopping or didn't really follow it, it's still really interesting.
Oh, it's fascinating.
And yeah, fascinating to hear where it came from, where it is now. We grill him a lot on where he thinks home shopping is going in the future.
Yeah.
But he is a wealth of information, and we have basically booked him for 5 more episodes because we have so much to talk about.
Because who can fit crypto into just one episode?
I know, but really impressive resume. So you'll find all of his information, how to contact him, his website, where you can follow him on social media, the businesses he's still working with today.
And a fun link he mentioned of Joan Rivers doing a tribute to his dad.
Yes.
Offering him an award.
Just there, that's all going to be in the show notes, no matter how you're listening or watching this. So please click on those, give him a follow, and see what he's up to, because he's a wealth of knowledge, a really fun guy, and a great person to have on our team. So
He was a good hang.
Yes, he is. So enjoy this interview with Marvin Segel. And as always, please give us a follow, a like, or a listen. And we love you all so much. Bye-bye.
For 3 generations, Elizabeth Grant has been delivering results. This is the only skincare collection in the world that offers Essence of Jerusalem that has literally transformed millions of people's skin around the world. And now they're exclusively supporting our podcast and all of you with an exclusive coupon code, Turkey25. Yep, Turkey25. Use that when you shop at elizabethgrant.com. Start with the Essence of Jerusalem, the first ever serum in the beauty market, and then explore the rest of the collection. They have something for every skincare need, every age, every skin type, and they have an exclusive coupon code just for our listeners. It's Turkey25. Head to elizabethgrant.com and enjoy shopping with your exclusive discount.
Ladies and gentlemen, he has a history unlike any other.
Yes.
We've been waiting a long time. We were nervous to ask him, and he said yes.
If our voices get a little shaky, we're in the presence of greatness.
We've been building the courage to ask him to be here, and he has finally agreed. Marv Segel, thank you, and welcome to So Happy You're Here podcast.
I'm happy to be here. It's always great to catch up with those from this crazy industry.
Crazy is one way to describe it for sure.
And it is a small group if you think about it.
It's a small but wild,
Yes.
but wild group. So Marv, when Becky and I were prepping for this, we were like, okay, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about that. There's 100 million things we could talk to you about. But since it's the first time on So Happy You're Here, let's just go back to the beginning to introduce yourself to the ladies who maybe, and men who haven't met you before or who need a quick, brief history with you. How did your life begin in home shopping?
my life began when my father saw the rise of all the crazy TV shopping channels, about 40 years ago. And he came out of the Franklin Mint. My father was also the founder of the Franklin Mint.
Oh, yeah.
And grabbed a bunch of those people together and said, I think we could do this better. When you look at how the industry was, it was hokey. There were auctions. They didn't disclose shipping and handling. These are all things my father put into play. So he put a group together and launched what was then QVC. And if you look at my father's DNA, which is something interesting also, is almost every business he was ever involved in had a pivot of an individual or another company that gave it immediate credibility. Besides my father had a private jet charter company who was his partner, Ransom Airlines, which was a division of U.S. Air. So we had an official, very credible connection. The Franklin Mint, he had Gilroy Roberts, which you may not know. Gilroy Roberts was the engraver of the Kennedy half dollar. So that gave the Franklin Mint credibility. QVC, he struck a deal with Comcast. Comcast was the original carriage and the original investor into QVC. So there's all those pivots. So anyhow, as my father was playing around with this thing, with a lot of planning, it launched. I stood next to him the evening it went live.
Wow.
And you can look it up. And the first item was that shower radio. I want to say it was $24.95. And, they went live. They didn't know if anybody was going to be listening or not. Calls started to come in. Somebody bought the shower radio. Of course, they put that person on air, and they had a scrambled word game at the time. And I want to say the scrambled word was something like cat, like, Stevie Wonder would have figured it out, and the person unscrambled the word, and they spun the prize wheel, and it was the person won $100. And I remember my father turning to me and saying, we're $75 upside down. Like that was how it started. And then, as you may or may not know, QVC set a record in business, I think doing $112 million that first year in sales.
Wow. Did you know immediately that it was going to be big? Did you think
you struck gold? Did
you know you were watching history in the making? Or were you kind of like, I don't know, Dad, what are we going to do here?
No, I was actually in the real estate business. That's one of my other careers. And it was kind of interesting. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I never watched home shopping prior to that. And I was like, okay, this is kind of neat. Something else my father's kind of playing in. I had no idea how it was going to take off the way it did. And then even my career, my father was vacationing in Hawaii with his wife, my stepmother at the time. And the spa director knew who he was and gave him a product and said, I think this would do well on QVC. It was a weight loss product. It was, just for memory's sake, it was Night Bites.
Oh my gosh.
That's the last bar I have anywhere.
Original?
That's an original. I would not want to open this, but it's been sealed for like 30 years. But anyhow, he came back to me and, being a nice dad, and I weighed at the time, by the way, over 330 pounds.
Okay.
And he said, Marv, maybe you want to try this. And if it works, maybe you can go on QVC with it.
Okay.
Funny story there. There's a lot of little crazy stories. So I end up losing some weight, 20 pounds, 25 pounds, whatever. So I take it into QVC, and it's got backup. It's got studies. It has everything. And I get rejected. Why do I get rejected? Because my father set a policy that QVC was not supposed to do any ingestibles. Oh. So I call up my father. I was like, Dad, hello. We tweaked it a little bit. It then got on air, and it was a monster success. It was the top selling weight loss product on QVC for over 20 years, both in the US and the UK.
That's huge. But That's interesting, because I always thought, and I don't know, and Marv, I mean this with as a great compliment, there's a lore around you because you are the longest running person in home shopping. So I had no idea you first started working with them as a guest. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, I started as a on-air guest at QVC and Q2 out of Silver Cup Studios in New York. And that was how I started. And I was on air for a while, doing really well.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was a marketing director for a home builder in South Jersey, making, I want to say, $80,000, $100,000 a year. Good money back then.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, I went on air, and because of the deal I had on the product, I made like $10,000 that first time on air. And I was like,
He's hooked.
this could be kind of interesting. And I started making that segue in. I was an on-air guest for years until that company, the people that made this product, which was called Optimum Lifestyle, were bought out by a public company out of Purchase, New York. And they had I don't talk bad about people, but not a very nice CEO, I won't name him, that felt I shouldn't always be on air. They wanted to bring somebody else on air. It didn't affect my compensation, but it was like, fine. So when they did that or suggested of doing that, I was like, oh, gee, maybe I should expand and do other products. That forced me into doing other products, which at its peak was 20 to 30 different brands on QVC. Lipo in a Box, which was a great product. Tri-Oral, which was, I know it's it's a great product. Tri-Oral, which was 24 hours a day of no bad breath. Litter Quick, which was the top selling pet product on QVC. I mean, I was doing all that stuff. But anyhow, so the parent company sends some nutritionists on air. Literally one time on air, they got a letter from legal saying that person could never go on air again.
They made claims.
And as you know, when you go on air, and especially with a dietary supplement or in your case, guys, some beauty product.
Yes.
You know, it looks simple. People don't realize how hard it is to go to the line, but not go over the line.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Marv, you're so right. I'll never forget my very first beauty show. I was with, my big one was with Dimitri James and Skin. Obviously, you well-versed in that. And the legal team at the time, it was Shop NBC or Evine, I can't remember. They stood in the studio with us so that anything they thought I would say that could be, construed in any way, they would step over then and whisper in my ear, okay, don't do that. Okay. Right. Yeah. I mean, it is very difficult. And I can't imagine for you having so many different types of brands to keep that all clear and, Oh,
it was insane. And the first time Light Bites went on air at QVC, and you'll laugh at this. Were either of you ever at QVC in the old studio?
No. HSN.
Okay, so QVC. in the movie Joy, it's somewhat realistic, which was the rotating set, and the producer sat right in front of the stage. So I literally went on air and sold out the first time on the morning show with Pat James and Dan Hughes, who remained friends. I step off the set. The line producer is handing me the phone, and they're going, "It's your dad." I'm not making this story. I'm not making this story up. You'll die. So, when my father's gruff voice, he goes, "Marv, congratulations. Thanks, Dad." And I'm not making this because, by the way, when they put your name on air, they spelt your last name wrong. Now, my father's chairman, he's upstairs. So they spelt my last name wrong. And he says to me, he goes, you should tell somebody and have them correct it. And with I don't know how I pulled this off. I literally said to him, I go, "Dad, it's your company and your last name. You call somebody." And I hung up the phone.
Snap, Dad.
I'm talent now.
I don't have time to work with you, mister. Oh, that's amazing. So how did you transition then from being on-air talent to becoming, you were a major player in, as a officer and C-suite in all these different.
I enjoyed, and if you think about where my office was.
Yes.
When I first was hired by Keith, and that's a story I'll go to in a second. When I came over there, they escorted me upstairs, and I go, "No, where's the green room? Where's the studio?" And they go, "Downstairs." I go, "I want to be down there because I want an on-air guest or a vendor to be able to come into my office and talk to me.
Yep.
Because that's what I'm here to do." And so I picked the office that was next to John Stoltz, head of broadcasting, if you remember.
Yes, I do.
I did not know, and I got a lot of abuse for it, that was 2 doors away from the model dressing room.
Sure, Mom.
I got a lot of shit for that, you know? So.
Right. I knew a lot of guys who wanted that office.
That was a hot spot.
So if you remember, I would occasionally smoke a cigar, but you couldn't smoke in the building. I had this giant cigar ashtray, and it was always filled with chocolates. One time Keith was downstairs. That was the CEO who hired me. And he walks into my office. And if you knew Keith, you would understand this. Keith comes to my office and goes, "How are things doing?" I said, "Great." And he goes, "What's with the bowl of chocolate?" Can I curse a little bit? Is that going to offend anybody?
Listen, okay. You're sitting here with Becky, right?
Okay. So the bowl of chocolate is there, and he goes, and this way we talk, goes, "Segel, what's with the bowl of chocolate?" And I go, "Keith, I'm 2 doors away from the model dressing room, and women love chocolate." He stands up and he goes, "Segel, you're fucking brilliant." And he walks out.
Never respected you more. Love it.
Always thinking.
Right.
You got to close that sale somehow.
But you know what? What's interesting about that is you were really connected to our training. And I like that it was boots on the ground. And I think, and this is not to say anything disparaging, but the further away, I think, the C-suites got, it was, and you really could see the change in that business. It wasn't as hands-on, and you were in love with what you did, and you could tell.
Yeah. Paul Kelly and I loved what we did. We loved the training. We loved, working with everybody. And the on-air guest training, we also saw a improvement in the statistics of the people we trained versus the people we didn't train.
I believe it.
And yeah, and you could tell right away. I mean, it was typically, Erin, did you ever come into any of the training or no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we would have tape reviews. We would have,
When I was hired as a guest, I technically just had a few products here and there starting in like 2011, 2012. But then I became a main fashion guest in 2013. And
right.
The training to this day, Marv, I have the book and I have all the notes and the 3-ring binders. And I remember sitting in those sessions thinking, number one, I can't believe I'm here with all of this amazing talent.
Right.
Like the hosts at that time were just phenomenal. And then I remember thinking, I'm never going to get through this. Like, oh my gosh, it was really, really good. And to Becky's point, Marv, between all of us and anyone listening, after you and that regime quit training, I think it went downhill. And that's not to disparage anybody who went on air. It's more, the training went downhill and you could see that reflected.
and I think there was
People
a
just
thought
weren't-
that anybody could do it.
Exactly.
It was sort of diminished, I think.
No, it's again, like I said before, it seems very simple, but how do you convey the features and benefits? And even getting to something goofy, which was this cat litter box. This woman was the manager at the gym in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, that I used to work out at. And her husband was an engineer at Lockheed Martin. Great story, great couple. She loved cats. He was an engineer. They designed a triangular shaped litter box. Now, if you think about that, that's great because corners are dead spaces. So being able to fit in a corner, which most litter boxes are square or
clever.
rectangular. Okay. Now, the problem was a triangular shaped litter box does not fit on a retail shelf.
Oh, yeah.
So it really needed help of QVC. I take it to QVC. It becomes the top selling pet product.
Yes.
But now how do I help them demo poop in a litter box? So
Those candies, those chocolates.
You're close.
No.
I was visiting the phone center in San Antonio, Texas. And the joke is everything's bigger in Texas. And I'm going through the airport. And at one of those convenience stores in the airport, there were these giant jelly beans. And I was like, there's my poop. And I bought like 10 bags of these jelly beans, which they thought I was crazy. And that's what we used to demo the poop in the litter box.
Yeah.
Highly demonstrable.
But two things. It's usually one of the very few. Home shopping is one of the few industries where you say things like, I need poop.
Yes.
Or I don't know where my clothes are. Because we would change so much. There's not a lot of professional jobs where you say, where are my clothes?
It's
or
so
I need
true.
poop. Right?
Yep.
But also to your point, things that didn't do well on shelves.
Yes.
that is where I believe, and you have to tell me, and we believe that the home shopping talent, especially back in the day where you started, those were the original influencers.
Yep.
That was the original video sales.
Yeah, the trust.
It's funny you say that. I have this thing here. I need to have this framed eventually, but you'll appreciate this. This was Bella Magazine in New York.
Yeah.
Notice they had my father was the original influencer.
Fantastic.
In an age of influencers, Joseph Segel was one of the forefathers. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
Amen and amen.
Most people don't realize that, but that was way ahead of its time.
Yes.
And my father was very, very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And great stories of, even when he went on air a couple times in the early days. But again, it looks easy. It looks fun. It can be, and other times it can be really, really hard. Things go wrong, as it's live TV, but that's also what makes it kind of funny at the same time.
Well, yeah.
Fires. I put out a little fire on air once.
No, she literally put out a fire on air. One of the lights on set started something on fire. Well, Becky and I believe if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So we try to find the humor in everything. Do you have funny behind the scenes memories?
One of my light bite stories was, so I was in light bite, QVC had K1, K2. They were two different kitchen sets. And they were adjoining the sunroom. And I'm on air doing this. And when I would go on air, on a stool next to me would be my large pants when I used to be like a size 52 or 54 waist and a big jacket. And I'd lay it down and we had a cutout of me, which I found from some old photo, life size of when I weighed over 300 pounds. We start the show, and that was a day that Tim Conway and Harvey Korman were on air.
No way.
Doing, if you remember, they had a series called Dorf Goes Hunting, Dorf Goes Fishing.
When he was on his knees.
Yeah. And it was very fun. And they were great guys. And anyhow, so we're starting the show, and I say to the host, let me show you where I was. And I go to grab the pants. Pants aren't there. Now I'm on live TV, and I look into the camera and I go, if somebody knows where my clothing is, please, get them to me.
Don't hear that.
Next thing I hear is laughter coming from stage left. And here comes Tim Conway and Harvey Korman, both holding a light bite bar. And Harvey has my jacket on, which is huge on him. Tim Conway is wearing my pants live on air. And they're eating, I couldn't pay for this. And they're eating the bars. And Tim Conway says, they're working already. And he drops the pants and wait a minute. And he's in his boxer shorts. On live TV. Yeah, it was great.
And you were none the wiser. They did all of this without you.
No, it was totally improv. That's what made them so great.
Fantastic.
That's so good.
And I'm very proud going back to our DNA at Shop NBC, Evine, all the different names it had. I was the one that brought the best of the Carol Burnett show to Shop NBC with Connie.
Yes.
And when we had Vicki Lawrence was the guest, and we had arranged when Vicki Lawrence was on air, Tim Conway called in live.
Wow.
Which was great TV, absolutely phenomenal TV.
Yes.
Vicki Lawrence.
Incredible.
I mean, I love my career, the people I've met, the people I worked with. I mean, Coach Ditka, I brought Coach Ditka's steaks from his steakhouse in Chicago.
I remember.
I mean, I did all kinds of cool stuff.
No,
So
you really did. And I remember coming in as a new person, just thinking, oh my gosh, there was such, what's the right word?
It was professional. It was glamorous.
It was so inspirational and aspirational at the same time. And I remember thinking, having imposter syndrome and working really hard to kind of keep up with the likes of the hosts that you had hired and that you were working with. And then everything in the shopping network sort of started to take a fall. What do you think started happening? And I'm not saying a fall in, specific people as talent or what happened, but what do you think was the major turn in home shopping?
in my opinion, people will blame Amazon, which I think is wrong. I think going back to what I said earlier, it is the pivot or the inability for a large company to pivot. Influencers started coming up. And I'm not talking like the Kardashians. I'm talking regular people. You know, I've always said, remember the guy with the grape juice on the skateboard that had like 20 million views and he was a nobody.
Yeah.
And things like that. And the shopping channels never embraced influencers correctly. When, as you guys remember, I actually tried to buy Evine at the time with a group of people. We had funding, we had everything. And one of the slides in the presentation had all the iconic hosts at each channel, at HSN, QVC, et cetera. And in the middle was my daughter, who ironically runs a marketing company, shouldn't surprise you, and her social media. And my daughter has, and probably still has, more social media followers than any show host and any shopping channel. Mm-hmm. And that to me sums it up, that they never understood how to do that. When we made our pitch, we showed a before and after. You mentioned isomers, with isomers. And we had the typical, you know, what I call the two shot, you know what that is. You know, it's the two of you right now. Yes. You know, it's the host and the guest and the product. And I said, it needs to be different. The two shot should be the host and a beauty influencer. And then off to the side is Manuela making stuff in a makeshift lab like she does in Canada. Mm-hmm. And the beauty influencer turns to the camera and says, let me tell you why I recommend this product. Mm-hmm. And then, Manuela, what makes this so unique? And then they go to her, but you're bringing in the eyeballs from the beauty influencer. Yeah. The problem is, you know, the customer count has been going down forever. Yes, you can blame cable cutting, but again, you can pivot and you could find other ways to get a different audience, but no one has done it correctly at all, in my opinion.
Yeah. Right. No, I agree.
I mean, I think retail, we've talked about this many times, Becky and I, retail on the whole has had such a rough go, especially since 2020. You know, even brick and mortar stores are reinventing themselves and figuring it out. But I do completely agree with you that I think the industry as a whole didn't pivot at the right time and take advantage actually of the skill set and what they had in front of them, and take advantage of that and see how could you make it, you know.
When I had that talk show I produced with Dr. Robbie Ludwig at Star Shop, one of the guests we had was Chris Rococo. I'm probably screwing up the last name, but he was the founder and creator of Untuck It. And which I wear, I'm wearing, I'm wearing one of their shirts now. And what he did, he found a niche in the market, number one, which was the shirt at just the right length. You could leave it out.
Yes.
But if you go to his stores are more of a front for the merchandise, but you order, once you confirm your size, you order online. Oh, and so it's a hybrid of both. Yeah. And that, to me, that's something, by the way, he's grown tremendously. Mm-hmm. And that's an example of hitting the pivot correctly. Yeah. He saw the void, and the sales model is so unique compared to what else is going on out there.
Yeah. Like a restoration hardware. I mean, that's what you do for furniture. You know, you place your order.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have the one in New York. We have the RH restaurant, which is, they have a restaurant on the top floor of the retail space. Great. So you have to take an elevator through all the retail to get to the restaurant.
And get very inspired.
Well, and I was going to say, you have a little champagne up top, and then you tootle back down, and boy, everything's going to buy. Looking good.
Yeah, and you're right back.
Yeah.
That chandelier doesn't seem too pricey anymore.
That's right.
Might as well pick up a few.
Yeah.
So along the way, do you have any celebrities or hosts or talent that you worked with that stand out one way or the other?
I loved Suzanne Summers.
Yes.
She was great. She was great to me. And you're going to think I just had this stuff, but I didn't. This is literally above my desk. And here's Suzanne when she was at Shop.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
And I was really close with both her and Alan, and a cute story there. So I would always meet the celebrity guests. So I got just a couple of minutes late on a weekend, and Alan was in the celebrity green room, as you remember we had.
Yes.
Suzanne was already on air, and it was a 3-hour show. I walk in, I say, Alan, I'm really sorry, a few minutes late. How's everything doing? He goes, everything's great. And he says to me, he goes, are there any good Jewish delis in Minneapolis? And I said, why? One. He goes, well, I know there were a couple. I mean, Rye was one right on Hennepin they used to go to a lot. And I said, yeah, there's a couple. He goes, can we go? I said, your wife's on air. And he says, she won't let me eat this stuff. And this is, if you can get me back and forth in time, that would be great.
And she can't bust him on air.
No. So we hop in the car, we go to Rye Delicatessen, which was the only deli I ever knew that you could get a corned beef sandwich and a Bloody Mary because they had a bar at the same time.
Fantastic.
And we did that, and he put some mince in his mouth, and he was there when Suzanne came off air.
She was none the wiser.
What did you, when you would see talent come in, whether they're hosts, guests, celebrities, non-celebrities, founders, CEOs, could you tell immediately if they were going to be good on air or not?
Yes. Yeah. If you remember when we had the class, it'd be like 20 or 25 people.
Yeah.
Paul and I would ask to break them up into like groups of 3 or 4. And we'd say, tell us about your product, tell us your name, and why we want to buy your product. And right in the front row was a husband and wife. I'll never forget this. And the woman right away says, every woman wants to marry their hairdresser. I did. And everybody giggled.
Sold.
So there was a cool team. Yeah. So I immediately kind of went into a show host mode, and I said, that's great. That's fantastic. I go, but why do I want to use your product over anybody else's product?
Right.
The hairdresser immediately says, your hair is your only accessory you can't remove, so you want it to be perfect. I literally said to them, you can leave now because
honestly,
you're fine.
Yeah.
Really
that was
good.
Off the top of their heads. Fantastic.
Wow.
And then there was the woman that was Pig of the Month, which was the barbecued ribs. And I'm going to try to find her name right now. But so Pig of the Month was, she was an investment banker and a sweetheart of a lady, and Lee Richards. I knew I'd have her name still. And so she went through all the training, and we go into the studio and we do like a mock presentation.
Yes.
So I'm playing host that day, and Lee is there, and we had these ribs. And by the way, they were friggin' amazing ribs. They were phenomenal. So I take a bite of the rib, and with my weird sense of humor, I dropped to one knee and I said, will you marry me? and she doesn't miss a beat. She says, do you have a ring? And I said, you know what? You're fine. You're great. So it didn't throw her a curve at all. She was fine. Yeah. And so you can tell right away if somebody's going to be good. I mean, there's been other products I've had where somebody had a product for like poison ivy and stuff. And I said, we had a camera in my office before we got in the studio. I said, so can you tell me about the product? The guy pulls out literally a sheet of paper and starts reading.
Oh, dear.
And I let him go. And it was like 12 minutes in.
Oh, no.
I said to him, he turns and goes, how did I do? I go,
oh, honey.
Not well. I said, the show ended about 4 minutes ago.
Oh.
I said, you didn't let anybody ask another question. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, again, it seems easy, but it's not.
The art of conversation.
Right.
While, I think you told me this, Marv, or it was in your training, it's not just about selling, it's about educating, helping people make an educated purchase.
Right.
Because if they get it home and they hate it, that's on you. You got to make it educated. So the art of informing, educating, selling, and having a good time, it is an art form.
And
it's
by the
tough.
way, with the producer in your ear,
while you're taking a live caller, and the producer's talking in your ear at the same time.
Yes.
Totally. And sometimes they're making an inappropriate joke and not even talking about sales.
Oh, I've had that. I've had that happen also. Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
So what do you think the future of home shopping looks like? Do you think there is a big one?
Well, obviously from my father's legacy, I hope QVC pulls it off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that they were going to make the proper pivot. Okay. I mean, they got breathing room because they got the debt from $6 billion down to $1 billion, but it's still $1 billion in a loan they have to pay.
Yeah.
But are they going to be able to bring in any new eyeballs? That's the big question. That's what everybody needs to do, and they forgot how to do. Mm-hmm. In the early days of QVC, when you walked past the operations desk, there was a monitor up on the wall, and it had a total count, and it had an arrow that was like this, like that, or like this. And every day, the customer count in the early days should have always been going up.
Right. Of
if
course.
ever it was going down in a given day, I'm telling you, the phones would blow up. from upstairs, and they would change all the programming for the day.
Yeah.
Because they knew that was the secret. You had to build the customer count.
Yeah.
QVC has now had for 16 quarters of declining customer count.
Oh, no.
Even with the TikTok shop. You know, I think
Well, I mean, I think that's helping, but time will tell if that's really doing it.
Yeah.
But what QVC has done, because I see this and I represent vendors, is they have increased their margins somewhat to make up for the lower customer count. So you have some customers complaining over the cost of goods.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. No, I hear that.
Yep.
And I think TikTok, as successful as it is and as big as it's growing, it still leaves behind quite a few people who still don't trust TikTok or don't want to shop on TikTok, especially, diehard, loyal, long-term home shopping.
Well, and doesn't it come down to the product? Because all the fun stories you're telling us, Marvin, are all about finding, sourcing little products we would have never known about.
Yeah.
That's something that Shop NBC was so good at, being a little incubator.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it happened with Shop HQ as well. A lot of proprietary lines, thinking we can make the margins lower by bringing everything in house.
Right.
Well, now you're stuck with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, they really, they have forgotten what their DNA was. My father wanted the products to be in stock. He didn't want you to have to wait. One of the classic stories in the very early days of QVC, Spencer Gift had a thing called Gaga Gorilla. Gaga Gorilla was the first ever animated stuffed animal that would dance to music.
Yeah.
That was crazy back then. I'm going back 35 years ago.
I love Spencer.
And we had a family dinner at the Four Seasons Hotel in Philadelphia. My father comes in. He was a pretty kind of straight-laced guy with a Gaga Gorilla under one arm. This is in the Four Seasons dining room. And a boombox under the other arm. He sticks the Gaga Gorilla on the table, fires up the music like Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack. And this gorilla is dancing across the table. And my father is so happy because this gorilla actually blew up the phone lines in Westchester, PA.
Hey,
Fantastic. So fun.
Yeah.
It brings a little joy.
That's
and that
it.
gorilla was paying for that meal at the Four Seasons, I think.
Yes, I'm sure it was. Yep.
Well, and think about that too. I mean, all of the fun you were talking about, it was always entertaining. From the game show on the first broadcast to, entertaining conversation among host and guest. I mean, if it's not fun, no one's going to watch it.
You're absolutely correct. You mentioned fun, and I think earlier you had, making a note to myself, you had mentioned Joy Mangano.
Yes.
Joy I knew very well, and I knew with her when the whole craziness happened between Barry Diller and QVC, and Barry Diller went to HSN and then bought Joy's company and brought them down there. So anyhow, a couple of years later, I'm in New York. I'm invited to a party. Random House, I forget which publishing company it was. And it's the launch of Joy Mangano's book. Wow. And I walk in, and literally like one of those old E.F. Hutton commercials. Joy's at one end of the room, I'm at the other. And Joy yells out, "Marvin Segel, how long has it been?" And I just yell back out and I say, and I'll tell you the backstory in a second. I said, "Joy, the last time we were together, we spent the night together in silk pajamas." And everybody stopped and went, "What the hell?" And
only in this industry.
Getting to what they used to do in the overnights, they would occasionally have all the iconic guests show up. You'd reach your hand into a little bowl or something, and you pull out a product. So we'd all end up doing each other's products.
Oh,
so
really?
And you had to wear silk pajamas, and it was from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. It was hysterical. We had it was very loose. It was fun.
I bet people stayed up. That would be appointment viewing.
100%.
For those who love shopping along with all of
brilliant.
you. Yes.
It was a lot of fun, and that was the kind of stuff that TV shopping did that they don't do anymore. They stopped having fun. Yeah. You go back to that game I mentioned in the beginning with QVC, that I brought a lucky number game to Shop NBC. Mm-hmm. And after a couple of times on air, the planners, which I'll let go unnamed, the planners decided the on-air games were a waste of airtime. Mm-hmm. They didn't understand what my father knew in the beginning, before gamification had an actual name, that keeping the viewer watching to see if their number was pulled
Yes.
was the best money you could ever spend. And that's unfortunate. And again, people forget, it gets back to what I said before. People forget how it got so big. And then the question now is, how did it fall so dramatically, you know?
Well, Marv, it's so funny that you say that, because the inception of this podcast started with Becky and I getting in trouble, which, listen, that's 90% of our lives, but that's for another episode. We would get in trouble because when we took over Wake Up in Style, the entire premise was having fun with girls. I mean, with
Right.
girlfriends. So yes, we had to present and sell clothing and accessories, but really it was a good 2 to 3 hours of just having good girlfriend time.
Yeah.
And as different leadership teams came in and they got very, very hard on us, no visiting, you got to sell, you got to have that CTA, which if you don't know is call to action to the listeners.
Yep.
And so we actually started this podcast because we were no longer allowed to be having that girlfriend conversation anymore that we had been having during wild success of Wake Up in Style. We were most successful the more fun we had. And then when they said we can't be having the conversations, we can't be having the fun, that's why we started this.
That's right.
Because we're like, well, but that's our DNA as presenters, and that was our show.
And to get a viewer to stick with us for 3 hours straight through on a Saturday morning, you know, when
can't
life is
just sell
busy.
straight through. Nobody wants to listen to a sale for 3 hours.
That's right.
So that's funny that you say that, because you knew that decades ago. We came to that conclusion a few years back.
Yeah.
And it really is, I think, one of the most important parts of the industry.
It's having fun on air, and they forgot how to do that. Mm-hmm. They forgot to keep the customer engaged and watching. Another one was Jessica Simpson, years and years ago.
Yes.
Had my father's still chairman, and they had a sugar-based body lotion by her.
Yes.
They had bought enough. It was a whole line, but this one product, and she said this on air. It was, you can put this on and it can be licked off by your significant other. I thought my father was going to have
Watch out.
So the product sold out in 20 minutes for 2 hours of programming.
Wow.
And they had to end the show early, proving, again, an influencer and a great product with a great demo, I mean, works really, really well. It's not hard. This is not rocket science, what everybody was doing. But you got to do it right. And people have forgotten what worked. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned your dad's legacy earlier, and we talked about Joy. What were your thoughts around the movie Joy? I mean, huge to have a movie built around, you know, your father's company, built around one of the most iconic. And then Jennifer Lawrence, she went on to be nominated and won the Oscar for her role. I mean, that's insane. What did you guys think about all of that?
I thought it was well done. There's a couple of facts that are kind of a little screwy, but that's only if you really knew it.
Sure.
And, you know, there's a controversy. My father's not alive now to verify or not verify. But when Joy, if you remember when it went on air with a guy, and I'll pick on myself, I don't know that I would know how to mop. And if you remember, in the early days, the show host was supposed to know everything. So the show host is mopping and not doing a really good job, and it died. Joy then begged, because she mortgaged her home as in the movie and everything. She begged to go on with the product. They let her go on the product. Now, who she asked, was it my father? Was it somebody else? Nobody really remembers anymore. She goes on air and the product sells out. Mm-hmm. And that changed the whole dynamic of having on air guests. That was the first guest.
Oh, interesting. So the
that.
host did everything prior to that.
Yeah, because
my father felt the host should know it all. And there was never a guest. Joy was the first guest, and that changed the dynamic from that point forward.
That's fascinating.
Well, I think I learned this from you. The host needs to know everything so that you can appropriately guide the guest, not necessarily to be the expert, but to make sure the guest is being guided into all the right points of sale, and to also properly highlight the guest and the product. And I thought that too, Marv. I would watch hosts almost know so much, and they would take over what the guest was supposed to do, and it caused kind of a tension in between where
it's very hard. Yeah, I don't interrupt you, but that is very hard when it happens. I remember one of the times, because I ran business development, a watch company came in called Marathon Watch. And Marathon Watch, and again, the weird world we live in, is in Canada, but makes the watches for our military in the U.S. Go figure that out. Anyhow. So Matthew always would love when they would do watches that I would be in the room because I really love that category. And I'm talking about the benefits of the company, the watch brand, how it's made. And Keith is at the head of the table whenever you were in that room. And Keith just says, Segel, thinking the way he would talk, you really like this. I go, yeah, I think it's a very good company because you should go on air. I was like, no, Keith, I don't go on air anymore. And then of course, when he said that, everybody else chimed in. So now I'm going on air with Marathon Watch, not the founder there. And all that's going through my head is, I got to remember everything I told people not to do and make sure I don't do it,
Now you're not just the teacher, you're the student. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So you've had a huge career beyond home shopping.
Mr. MLS.
I know, right? So we could do, I think you did 5 or 6 episodes with our beloved Sean Wilsey, who's no longer with us. We've got to do more episodes for sure to get into more of your background. But one thing that always sticks out to me is Pop Tarts. You got to explain
What's the deal with Pop Tarts?
What's the deal with Pop Tarts?
So behind my desk at Shop NBC, I would have a box of Pop Tarts. I still like them. I mean, I think they're easy. I mean, Jerry Seinfeld does a whole bit. He calls it the perfect food because there's 2 in a package and there's 2 slots in your toaster. You can't mess it up. anyhow, they would be back there, and occasionally I would eat them. And show hosts would give me Pop Tarts over the holidays, whatever. Years after Shop NBC, through another associate in South Jersey, I ended up co-creating and producing a off-Broadway show called The Divas at Daytime TV. And they were soap opera stars that would sing on tour. And we would do one show one night. We didn't do multiple shows. We were one and done. When I was in the area or it was appropriate, I would actually be the comedian or the opening and, do a little bit of what I call Seinfeld observational humor. And it was fun. I did a whole thing, I'm here with these 3 gorgeous women. I didn't have a date for my prom. Look at me now. And then on the stool, every comedian's got a stool and a bottle of water. I'd have a box of Pop Tarts and I'd pull them up and I'd say, does anybody still eat these? And the audience would giggle. I said, has anybody ever read a box of Pop Tarts? And I then read it, and I'm not making this up. It has the toaster instructions. And then it goes on after the toaster instructions, and it says, if you can't wait for the toaster, here are the microwave instructions.
Oh, dear.
I took a nice theatrical pause, and I said, if your life is that fucked up, you can't wait for the toaster, you've got bigger problems. So it literally has gotten so crazy because every time there's a food recall, I post the food recall on my social media and say Pop Tarts are still safe to eat. And it has gotten to a point that Kellogg actually sent me a T-shirt and a thank you letter for my support of Pop Tarts.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
Can't take the marketing out of the man. Always a marketer.
No diarrhea lettuce.
No. Well, unless you want to lose a few pounds. Listen, we don't have light bites around anymore.
That's
we
right.
might have to do the lettuce. For sure.
Everything in moderation, it all works.
Yes,
That's right.
Exactly. So what's next for you? I mean, are you excited to just maybe chill and enjoy, or are you always looking for what's happening next?
Always, I've always said I will die at my desk. I don't want to ever stop. I'm involved with this product. I can send you a link to it.
Yes.
This is based on what's called cell signaling. This actually helps your cells communicate better. So if you think about it, what's the difference between when you were 16, which I guess was just a couple years ago, right, guys?
For this
and now, when you fall, you scrape a knee, whatever, you healed right away when you're 16. Now it takes a little more time.
Yes.
This product improves your cell signaling. If you have a sore knee, shoulder, you rub this on, give it a couple minutes, you should feel better.
What's the name of it?
I'll send you the link afterwards.
Perfect.
I'm also involved in a big way in crypto and encryption. I'll also send you the link to that. That, I'm not making a political statement, but, Trump wants to make the U.S. the Fort Knox of crypto. I believe, quite frankly, that in the next couple of years, digital currency will be how we operate. I mean, depending on how you shop, you can take your phone and pay for something with the phone So I think that's going to happen more and more. There's now credit cards based on crypto. That's a whole thing. And then encryption. Every day you hear about somebody getting hacked. So the more secure you can make a platform, the better it is, whether it's for your email, text messages, photos, contracts, whatever the case is. So I think that is the future, quite frankly, in my opinion. So those are the couple of things that I'm very involved in. And I'm making a note of myself to make sure I send that to you.
Yes, please do. And by the way, future note for us, crypto is so confusing to me. We need to do an entire educational episode one day to just everybody baseline.
But do it like crypto for dummies.
Yeah, crypto for like big dummies.
Yeah.
It is, it's funny because you always hear that because it can't be traced and, they use it in kidnappings and stuff. You've heard crazy stories. The truth is it's actually very trackable because it sits on an electronic ledger. So you know who buys and sells it. The problem is only you can see that ledger. That's what makes it unique. But it is totally trackable because otherwise, how do you know what you have? That's the problem.
Well, you hear about that story of the guy that lost his password and he's sitting on,
that's
millions of dollars lost.
Well, also Nancy Guthrie.
Right.
I think those were people. Yeah, I think those are people that just didn't know what they were doing. It's a sad story, obviously. Yeah. And you even that was even an episode of The Big Bang Theory where Sheldon lost the drive that had his password on it.
Yes.
Yes.
So but it's
anyone can do it.
Right. Mm-hmm. But if it's I believe it will be the future. It allows currency to move more quickly than our current system using what's called SWIFT. You hear that a lot. That's how the government shuts down other countries moving money. But that's as you said, that's a whole other multi-part episode. Yes. And I could bring somebody on with me from a technical aspect, and it's very, very interesting where that'll be going in the future.
Yeah.
I'd be fascinated.
I would love to know more about that. So what I'm hearing from you is there's no slowing down anytime soon.
No, I even when I go on vacation, my wife knows I will take my laptop and my phone with me. And I'll say once a day, I'm just going to go look at it. Yeah. I just want to make sure because I'm involved in so many things. I want to make sure what's going on. I think it's very, very important. And we're just launching the crypto encryption technology now. Again, I'll send you the link to the website.
Yeah, please do.
And it's really interesting. I mean, I love that space because I don't even understand all of it, but it makes you think more,
Totally.
And that's the pivot that you talked about, that these businesses, retail needs to do. You've been doing it personally already for years.
No.
Yeah, I typically have a split screen. Like if I was on a Zoom call with that team, I'd have half the screen would be the Zoom call. The other half of the screen is Google, because when they say a word I don't understand, I'm Googling the word.
Nice. Good for you.
Always be learning. Stay curious.
Yes. Another little pivot before we have to get going, because we always go over time.
We do.
We can't help ourselves. No. What if QVC called and said, Marv, we need you?
What is it called?
No, what if QVC called you and said, Marv, we need you?
Set up the bat signal.
Would you go back into home shopping and try to give them their last ditch effort?
Ironically, I have offered to come back and recreate vendor relations.
Yes.
And on-air guest training, and they have not taken me up on that offer.
Okay. Listen up, QVC.
That might be all we need to know. That's
so. No, I believe that is needed, and I believe I created vendor relations at both QVC and Shop NBC, and I think they need to bring that sense of community back. If you listen, and I'll make another link. If you listen to the ERA award my father got from Joan Rivers, and I'll send you that link too, he really thanks the vendor community for being the heart of QVC, because that's where the great products come from.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, Joan Rivers. See, I can't say goodbye because you knew Joan Rivers.
She flew in from London to Vegas to present my father a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Did she?
You will die laughing. It's such a great tribute that she makes to my father. Yes.
Is it on YouTube? We'll pull it up.
I'm gonna send you the link.
Oh, super. Good. Thank you.
Do you subscribe to the idea that Hacks is built around
Joan
loosely
Rivers.
around Joan Rivers.
Say it again. What?
Do you subscribe to, the show Hacks? I think it's on Netflix or Hulu.
Oh, yeah. I think,
Smart.
look, I think that a lot of TV is based on something in the past.
Yeah.
Or, I had this discussion the other night over dinner. Every situation comedy is 4 or 5 people in a situation. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether it's Friends, Seinfeld, Cheers, 5 people at a bar, Seinfeld, 5 people in an apartment. I mean, it's the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right. I once listened to, I think it's Steve Levitan, who was a producer on Modern Family, say most of our ideas just come from my house.
What happened?
Yeah,
last night?
Why did my wife get mad at me again? There's our idea.
Ted Lasso, was basically, same thing. I mean, it's a group of people in a weird situation.
Yeah.
Look what I'm drinking out of right now, my Diamond Dogs coffee mug.
Wow, how cool.
You can be part of our Diamond Dogs, Marv.
Very cool.
Well, listen, we worked up the courage to ask you to be here, and we couldn't have been more excited
So
to have you as
gracious.
a part.
Thank you.
So happy you're here.
It's great to see you guys.
You too, especially rooting ourselves in home shopping. I mean, you are like the start of home shopping.
Yes.
So thank you for taking time out of your busy calendar. Now that we have it on the record, you promised to come back, so we're going to hold you to that.
Anytime you'd want me back, I'd be happy to cover it.
We would absolutely love that. But thank you so much, Marv. And
Thank you.
Say hi to your beautiful wife, Beth, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
If you want to move better, if you want to feel better, if you want to perform better, and who doesn't, you've got to check out Daily Fascia. Daily Fascia is one of our original supporters. It is brought to you by Erin Teets. And what she does is she helps relieve aches and pains with fascia-focused activations. She is a best-selling DailyOM course creator who does personalized sessions that help you feel your absolute best. You can check her out on Instagram, Patreon, or YouTube. And when you do, use the code HAPPY20 to let her know that we sent you and to get a special discount exclusive to our listeners. You guys, do us a huge favor, please. Will you like this podcast, share it, or subscribe? Because that helps, right, Bex?
Help us a ton.
It will. And I don't know if we've helped you, but if you don't mind helping us, that'd be great.
Fair's fair.
Love you.